Good evening and welcome to another session of Leopard Lair. I'm your host tonight, Jon Aljancic, and we have the privilege and honor to have members of the cheer team with us tonight. We have Tori Vernier, the first year cheerleading advisor, Tessa Schossel, all the way down at the end, senior, Hagen Evans, and her sister Bryn Evans with us. Girls, thanks for coming and being on tonight.
Thanks for having us.
So Tori, tell me about the first year of being a cheerleader advisor here at Louisville. What's been the highlight so far?
I feel like that's a loaded question. There's so many answers to that. I think the biggest highlight for me is obviously I love cheering. I've been a part of the program even when I was in high school. So coming back in itself as an alumni is great. It's fun. But getting to know a group of girls that I've never met before, that was a challenge, but then also a blessing at the same time, getting to know all of them, and kind of transitioning this program in a little bit of a different way than it has in the past, and basing it all about respect and respecting one another. And one thing that we've kind of established this year that I'm really proud of is that when we walk through the door, we're not just going to be known as the Louisville cheerleading team. We're going to be known as the most respectful team and fun team there, and just kind of like bringing back the fun and passion and cheer. So I guess that's kind of my highlight from this year.
Awesome. That's awesome. Now, Tessa and Tegan, you guys are 4-year cheerleaders here. How have you seen like the art of cheering from your freshman year to your senior year? Like, how have you improved as a cheerleader, or what attributes, like for our younger viewers out there, what attributes make for a great cheerleader?
Well, I think a great cheerleader is somebody that you have like the skills, but you also need to be just respectful and know that even when you're not in uniform, there's a lot of people that still know you're a cheerleader, and you just have to be respectful because people will know that you're a cheerleader.
Yeah. I would say that, and being a leader, on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Now, our non-tumbling cheerleaders just finished third at Best of State down in Columbus this past weekend. Our tumbling team just finished outside of the top five, but just a great run for both teams. Now, Tori, you and I, before we got on here, started talking about the tumbling team and how maybe they landed outside the top five. But explain to us just the maturation for that team from the beginning of the season up to this point.
Yeah, so I mean, I think both teams have come such a long way. I think just before we start that, at the beginning of the season, I think the confidence wasn't necessarily there just from as a whole. They hadn't competed last year because of COVID. So coming back, we had 2 teams instead of 1, which Louisville hasn't had in a very long time. So that was a huge accomplishment in itself. Having 30 girls compete in Louisville is like unheard of at this point in the game. So both teams have come a crazy way this year. The tumbling team specific, I mean, there are a lot of skills that go with it. And when you're out for even a month and you're tumbling, you can lose that tumbling skill. I mean, even if you are sick or whatever, like you could be out a month and be like, okay, I need to like train my body to redo this. So being out a year is a long time. So a lot of the girls had to relearn the skills that they might have once had, or just relearn skills in general. So we started our tumbling team in October with a back handspring minimum, basically, which is the minimum requirement skill for a tumbling team. And we threw very minimal tucks, so like 3 tucks in the routine, just to be specific. Now at Best in State, I mean, we threw probably like over 30. So a lot of the girls just worked to get those skills and get them back. So, I mean, it's a huge accomplishment. And going to Best in State and competing in D2 is a hard division. It's a very hard division. We're going up against schools like Green and Lake, a lot of the federal league schools. So it does get challenging. But to see how our scores fell so close to theirs with our first year being back and just getting all of those skills back, it was really cool to see. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the bare minimum is a back handspring. Sounds like my cheerleading career might be over before it ever starts, I think.
It might be.
So, all right, fair enough. So, hey, now girls, competing in Best in State, exciting, nervous. Like, explain to us the lead into that and competing at that level. Like, what are the emotions? You know, just your experience all in all down there.
You want me to go?
It was very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
I've never competed in a place that big before, so it was almost full. Like there were people everywhere.
So they now tell our viewers where you guys competed
It
at.
was
I know you
St.
told us
John's.
St. John
So
Arena.
St. John's Arena. So big
That's
place.
awesome.
Yeah, but once like we got on the mat, all the nerves went away.
It was exciting. at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
How about you, Bryn? I mean, you're the younger one here. How was that? I mean, you have the crafty veterans to your right. Like for you, more of a rookie. Like, explain to us.
Well, my 7th and 8th grade year, I think, we competed at St. John's Arena at the same competition. So I was more used to it than some of like the freshmen were. And it's just all the emotions. Like you're excited and you're nervous and you're like, oh my gosh, am I gonna mess up? So I don't know. It's really nerve-wracking, but like Tessa said, once you step on the mat, you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. So then you just go for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, Friday night, McKinley coming to town. You guys have been all part of the basketball, cheerleading, and all that stuff. Talk to us about a Friday night. You know, getting amped up for that, getting excited. Obviously, you've had student sections, pretty good, loud, boisterous student sections compared to last year, where obviously that was not necessarily the case. Like, tell us explain last year compared to this year, and just how you prepare for a Friday night or a Tuesday night or whatever that looks like.
I think the games this year have been a lot more exciting. I know just like stepping on the court in the student section immediately is just so pumped up. And obviously our team it's amazing. And the team just makes it even better because we're watching something so good. And the fans are so excited and we're so excited. So it makes it a lot of fun.
Awesome. How about you two? Anything else?
She said exactly what I said.
Yeah, that's just basically it.
All right. So now you're on the sidelines of a football game. Maybe not as exciting this past fall, but like there's different challenges, obviously. Like, what are your feelings when it's super cold out and all that stuff? I mean, how much harder is it to kind of get amped up for a game like that?
It wasn't as bad this year.
Yeah.
We've had
But
worse.
yeah, but I will say like the student section being there makes it way more fun because when like they get you hyped up and
Yeah.
so we're always moving too, so it's not like we make you feel cold.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like you're like having fun with all your friends.
Yeah, because they're so involved. So it's you kind of feel like you're part of the student section because we participate in the themes a lot too. So it's almost like we're up there too. It's more fun that way.
That's awesome. Cool. Now, for the Evans sisters here, like growing up, I had brothers who competed in a bunch of different sports, but we were about 4 years apart, so we never competed together. Explain to us how the cool dynamic of being 2 years apart, but being able to compete together. Is that something you enjoy? Like explain to us that dynamic.
Well, we only competed together for like a couple
couple
competitions,
times.
because I was on an ensemble team, and then someone got hurt, so I was a crossover. But then
Okay.
it became to a point where I couldn't cross over, and I had to choose. So I decided to switch over to the tumbling team. So we competed. I don't know how many competitions it was. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it was 3. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that
though.
makes sense. But I don't know. I know Bryn thinks about it more than I do.
Yeah, for sure. I think about it a lot more than she does because it's her senior year
Yeah.
and it's my last year being able to cheer with her because last year was my first year being able to cheer with her, which I was so happy I got to have that opportunity. But this year especially, it's very emotional, even though she's not going too far for college and she's going to be coming back around. But like she said, I do think about it a lot more. It's a lot more fun because I have her there to help me and walk me through it and help me learn through it. So it's definitely going to be a lot different next year without her.
Cool. So, okay, so we've talked about Friday nights, this past season, but talk to us a little bit about how do you get involved in cheerleading? Like, when does that start? Is that Little Leopards? Is that before that? Or like, when do you really get involved?
I mean, the cheer clinics.
Yeah.
You can start those ever since you're in kindergarten. That's what I know me and Bryn did. And then 5th grade Little Leopards.
Okay, so how was our Little
basically-
Leopard experience? Let us know. Who did you cheer for?
The Cowboys
Okay.
with Tegan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, we won. What year was that?
Our 6th
Sixth
grade
grade
year.
Big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Really big accomplishment. Yeah.
You Cowboys as well.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
years, but
And
we
then-
got second.
You didn't cheer 7th.
No.
But then I
Second
cheered
cheer.
7th and 8th, and I was on the Browns.
And
And
then
then,
I was also on the Browns.
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of my lead in a little bit. Oh, you were a
I
Lion?
was on the Lions.
Did you win any championships?
We won both years too.
Did you?
Oh, so did we.
Wow, we got titles all over the place here.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
You guys had a lot better Little Leopard experience than I did. I think I was 0-12, 56 straight playing. So
It's fine.
that was not as much fun. So, but okay. So now, Bryn, you kind of explained Tegan and her future plans in terms of being close, but kind of explain to us what your future plans are upon graduation, Tessa and Tegan.
I recently committed to Ohio University, so I'm going there and studying communications.
I plan on going to college locally, but I still don't know where at, and I don't know what for. I was kind of in like the nursing area, but I'm also really interested in teaching. And then I'm also coming back to coach middle school next year.
Any cheerleading in college or no?
No.
Okay, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, watching you guys perform, it's fantastic. Obviously, the numbers are up. I mean, I see a lot of girls on both teams,
Yeah.
which is really encouraging. It shows kind of a healthy program. How have you gotten the participation up to that level in your first year here?
I don't know. Okay, so to be completely honest, and I'm gonna be honest, I walked in and when I said the word like let's make a competition team, people were like, well, let's probably not do that. And so I had to have a lot of conversations with the kids like about the competition team. And you're not kids, you're literally teenagers, but I had to pull them out and have a lot of one-on-one conversations to kind of dig a little bit deeper to why they wouldn't want to be a part of it. So I did a lot of convincing with a lot of these girls, and hopefully they weren't disappointed. I feel like we've had a great year, but I know my experience as a competition cheerleader, and I wanted that for all of them too. And I didn't want them to sit back and regret it. So I made sure that I had those conversations and they just trusted me at the end of the day. So, I mean, 28 out of the 30 girls at the high school ended up doing the competition team. And we had a really good time doing it. But yeah, I think it was just making sure that I listened to them and then, told them what I had planned and then just kept to my word. And then it all worked out.
So, as a leader of this program, sign of a great leader is bringing out the best in their boys or girls, whoever they're coaching. How do you do that? What's the secret for you in terms of being able to encourage and inspire your girls to maybe accomplish things that they don't think they necessarily can?
I think it's being honest, but also like being the person that will encourage them even when they feel like they can't do it. And that happens a lot where there's like a lot of self-doubt in cheer in anything, I guess. You compare yourself to the girl next to you. And I think one big thing for me is like the only person that you can compare yourself to is yourself. And that's one big thing that I've tried to drill into their brains. Like, you are your biggest enemy. So if you're going to let yourself stand in the way of yourself, then that really stinks. But I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. That's how I've kind of done it this past year, and making sure that when there is something that they need to improve on, I don't just like let it go. In the moment, whether that's attitude, skill, whatever, we sit down, I address it, and we move on, and just being really upfront with them. So.
Cool. Yeah. I've heard you a couple times say how you encourage them and whatnot. And I heard a good definition of encouragement one time is encouragement is oxygen for the soul. And I think that helps, bring out the best in them, but also gives you the relational capital that maybe when you need to kind of give them a little, not kick in the butt, but just maybe a little challenge. They're more receptive to that.
Absolutely. I always say, like, if you want to get respect, you have to give respect, no matter what role you're in. And I respect them, and they have to respect me. I mean, they don't really get a choice, but I respect them back. So yeah, it helps.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome. So, tryouts coming up for the younger girls. Can you kind of tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah. So the process is to be decided. We are moving through a new way to do tryouts, which will be talked about at our parent meeting on the 11th. I still have to get that approved and everything, but
on the 11th of
April.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't even say the month. 11th. But we're going to have an entire new process this year. So stay tuned for that. Come to the meeting if you want to know. But we are going to have our official tryouts the first week of May. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the whole first week of May. But it also is our middle school and high school
Okay.
So
Cool.
that's when that's happening. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, girls, last question. For two of you, been cheerleading a little bit more. What has been the highlight of your career? And for Bryn, up to this point, what's been the highlight that you kind of maybe look back on and really are just excited about or reflect upon fondly?
Oh, I thought it was you.
Who,
Oh, do you want
all
me to
three,
start?
all three of you get a shot here. So
I would say mine is I've cheered with Tegan, I think, like I said, since, it's been like almost 8 years. So I would say throughout that time, getting as close as like I've gotten with her and Peyton and the other seniors, it's been really nice because now it's more like, I feel like we're all like sisters now. So yeah, I would say that.
I agree. I've been close with all four of the seniors, well, other three of the seniors since they've joined cheerleading, and we've always gotten along. It makes every year great. So definitely a highlight. It's just being so close with.
Gosh, my highlight, I was definitely looking more forward to high school years, being able to cheer with Tegan, which of course I was thinking more towards being able to cheer with her sophomore year. But I was more excited last year because I got an extra year with her. And it was also great because I grew up with like Tegan and Tessa and Chloe and Peyton and a bunch of the juniors too. I grew up with these girls. I cheered with a lot of them before. So I was really excited to be able to have the opportunity to cheer with them even longer because I was already experienced with them.
awesome. Well, life is all about relationships, and it's cool to see you guys talking about that now and kind of the foundation of your friendship leading to a successful cheerleading season, and obviously excited to see how that plays out moving forward in life. So, well, Tessa, Tegan, Bryn, Tori, we appreciate you guys spending the night here at the Leopard Lair, and thank you for joining us tonight. You guys have a good night.